Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be coming at you, however or wherever you may be. My name is Timothy Halloran. I am an astrologer. This is a bi-weekly astrological forecast for the end of February and the start of March 2017. And I'm going to apologize in advance. I feel quite under the weather for reasons which come as no surprise. And so I will do my best to deliver this message and make it count. Today is Tuesday, February 21st, and a few days ago we had our sun enter the sign of Pisces. And today the sun is passing the moon's south node in Pisces, which means that an eclipse is just around the corner. It's approaching Sunday the 26th, a solar eclipse in Pisces, 8 degrees of the sign of the fishes. And on top of that, we've got Martian energy coming in. It is a thoroughly unpredictable, fast-paced, restless, and intense type of energy which we are dealing with, coming in large amounts and in general propelling us forward in such a way where it can seem like there is truly no opportunity to turn back now, although that can be desired. Because there is so much going on and it's so fast-paced and it's so intense and so restless. We can even choke up or freeze. There can be build-ups, there can be burning up leading to burning out, melting down, crumbling. This is all potential as we have this very intense instinctual reactivity and powerfully restless physical energy coursing through our veins, coursing through our bodies, coursing throughout the entire world. And so we'll begin with Mars. Mars is forming a square to Pluto tomorrow, February 22nd. And then we'll form a conjunction to Uranus next Monday, the 27th. And so Mars is in this Pluto-Uranus pinch, creating a square aspect here, and this is an opening square to Pluto. So Mars is in his own sign of the warrior, Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the initiator, the way paver, the trailblazer. And Venus is also in Aries, where she is slowing down and will turn retrograde at the start of March. And so all of this Aries energy is very independent, individual, direct, spontaneous, unabashed. This is confidence in our own direction to do our own thing and initiate new patterns, initiate new structures. And there is a lot of adjustment going on with this opening square between Mars and Pluto. Now, Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. What that means is that Mars and Pluto both have to do fundamentally with desire. Mars is the more surface level desire, the desire which comes from our gut, our animalistic instinctual drive. And so this is sexuality, this is selfish desires, this is what I want to do. It's going to the beat of your own drum. It's following your own direction. I like to use the analogy of Mars being the sword. Again, Mars in Aries, Aries rules the first sign of the zodiac. It's what births our individuality. And so just as we are disconnected from our mother when we are born, from the belly button, we are severed into our individuality. Mars is that sword of carving our own direction. And when we are walking through the trails of life and that trail becomes overgrown with brush and suddenly we have lost our way, well, it is up to us to carve our own direction. And that comes with its own set of challenges this week. It comes with challenges because of external pressure, so much to do, such little time. External authorities, the pressure, the expectation, obligation coming from the things we said we were going to do, the structures, the schedules ordained. And there can be this forcefulness that we have to truly be careful of, lest we might end up burning out or losing energy the way I have. And that's again because of this tremendous build-up. Mars is forming a conjoinment with Uranus. This is extremely restless, unpredictable, spontaneous, uncertain, and I would say risky energy. Risky. This is the next couple of weeks is when people are angry. People are reacting. There are unexpected and shocking experiences which are coming. And we'll talk more about that with this solar eclipse in Pisces on the moon's south node. This is bringing up past dynamics. And in many respects, this Mars square to Pluto is looking back to October of 2016, when Mars conjoined Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. Pluto is deep, unconscious desires coming from parts of ourselves that are a lot less tangible and comprehensible and easily observed than the Martian more, Mars is like, I'm hungry. I want to have sex. It's the animal drive that each and every one of us has. And there is nothing inherently wrong with that. It can be used for good. It can be used to make ourselves strong, to make ourselves confident, to channel creative, birthing, initiating energy into the formation of new directions, new structures, etc. And yet, being square to Pluto right now, there is this dynamic where Mars can get ahead of himself. This is the opening square. Jeffrey Green, the founder of evolutionary astrology, calls this aspect the wild stallion that has to be reeled back in because that desire and the physical energy is so high right now. It's just like boom, boom, boom. Let's get this done. Let's do that. I'm going to juggle that. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And we have to make sure that our actions and our direction that we're forming right now is in alignment with our deepest, most authentic desires as a soul. That is what Pluto is. Soul desires. Pluto is currently in Capricorn, transforming fundamental structures, our work, our relationship to authorities, our relationship to culture and tradition is all being changed by Pluto. And Pluto will continue this endeavor through nearly the next decade. And so Mars and all of this energy, how is it working in this endeavor of restructuring our life in order to give us fundamentally more control and more power over our own individuality and self-autonomy? But in using that self-autonomy and individuality simultaneously in a way which is truly, sincerely fulfilling. And that typically brings that Martian Aries desire back to the collective and the whole, represented by Pisces. And this is where we're having our solar eclipse with Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, this approaching weekend, the 26th. Mercury is also moving into Pisces the day before, the 25th. And so there is this expansiveness, there is this uncertainty, there is this dissolving, and indeed there is this chaos, confusion, and surreal, nearly ethereal, very mystical energy that's coming in. And that can be for better or worse. On the high octave potential, this is realizations. We have Jupiter forming an exact opposition to Uranus that will be exact on March 3rd. That is extraordinarily brilliant, futuristic, perceiving more than we usually perceive, having spontaneous understandings and realizations that can change everything on its head. And things can change so significantly and redirect so drastically in such a short amount of time, it can be shocking. There can be shocks going on these next couple weeks. And that shock, again, it can be for better or worse. We can realize how much more powerful we are, how much more we can redirect and recourse our lives to work with others in such a way that has meaning and significance. And we've been talking about this the last several videos, how this whole year of 2017, we're being awakened, we're being provoked to come to life, to seize our own capability as human beings, to be able to implement and make change in our world without waiting for other people to do it for us, or blaming others, or saying the president's going to do it, or other people are going to start the movements, other people are going to start the groups. We are starting the movements and the groups, largely being provoked by what we don't like and what we don't prefer to keep seeing or keep repeating in the world and the collective. And so again, this is giving purpose and meaning to our life. We can serve the world. We can serve the collective in a way which is tangible. We can do work, we can aspire to share things that will come full circle, and we will see that goodness reflected off of others. That is the potential of Pisces in the most positive direction. Being connected to the collective, where we are using our Aries individuality, physical willpower, and endurance, but in a way which comes full circle. Now, this is a South Node solar eclipse, which means that there's a lot of past dynamics which are coming to the surface. And these past dynamics are not all good. They're not all pretty. There are things here which we need to change. And again, this solar eclipse being on the South Node with Neptune, and the fact that we have Mars in an opening square to Pluto, that conjoinment between Pluto and Mars was in October of 2016, which is also when Neptune was on the Moon's South Node. And so there can be some reflection if we remember fall time 2016, an extraordinarily chaotic, many people were in a state of shock and everything surreal. And this is when there was the presidential election in the United States, and a lot of people were saying, I can't believe this. This is like a dream. This was a common thing that I heard from so many people irrelevant of political views. Well, this can be a reflection where we are re-experiencing such confusion, chaos, uncertainty, and it's surreal. It's like, whoa, where is this coming from? Is this real? This is happening on our planet right now? And the answer is yes, it is. Yes, it's happening because there's many things that need to be resolved in our collective consciousness, and that's what Neptune in Pisces is. It's the collective. It has to do with our beliefs, and it also has to do with the function of surrender. And there is a high octave Pisces surrender, and there is a low octave Pisces type of surrender. The high octave surrender is what is illustrated through spiritual saints, sages, divine incarnations, such as Jesus, who came in and initiated the age of Pisces. What is that type of spiritual sacrifice and surrender? Is being a channel to divine orchestration. The understanding that we're all connected, and the understanding that we are here to serve unconditional love, and surrendering to that potency, that energy that moves through us, that can animate us, etc., is Pisces. And there is the opportunity for us to become a channel of that with this solar eclipse, which can inspire us through the next 6 months of very exciting formations of groups, collective endeavors, etc. Now, the low octave type of Pisces surrender is being delusional, being deceived, being manipulated due to us overcompensating or overgiving our own energy to others, to whoever is in our immediate environment and home, etc. Whether it be our parents, our teachers, authorities, giving and sacrificing ourselves to the intentions and the dictations of others, almost like throwing ourselves under the bus, would be negative Pisces. Yes, that's like the rose-tinted glasses. Oh, everything is okay, when your life is actually in shambles, when you're actually completely delusional and just trying to invent via your own imagination something that's okay in order to compensate for the fact that it's not, is Pisces in a negative sense. And we're going to see that with this solar eclipse on the South Node. What this can be experienced as is the collective belief that we're waiting for some savior or some superhero to do the collective evolution for us. or that the president, or that this person, etc., is going to be our savior and rescue us. It's also playing the victim card. Oh, we're a victim, we're powerless, we don't have control. Is what such experiences these next couple weeks can make us seem and feel. But this story needs to change. We need to take back our power. That is the culmination and completion of the age of Pisces and the movement into the age of Aquarius, is the proper understanding of how we can be servants of the divine, the collective, and the whole. But in such a way where we are not sacrificing the gifts and the tools and the capabilities that God gave us to be able to use. And so, long story short, this is this powerful Martian energy and this powerful Piscean, surreal, imaginative, mystical, and again, what we need to be careful of right now is not getting overexcited. Yeah. It's like even the Sabian symbol of this solar eclipse really suggests the energy. The Sabian symbol for 8 degrees of Pisces, which rounds up to 9 degrees when you're using Sabian symbols, and the Sabian symbols is just a symbol for each degree of the zodiac. The race begins. A jockey spurs his horse to speed. Intense. The race is on. The horse is off. The physical energy is there. In fact, the physical energy is there so much it can be just like, whoa, did I just have 10 cups of coffee? Did I accidentally take some speed or something? What is going on? And that's the Jupiter-Uranus too. It's just like, whoa. Uranus is Prometheus stealing fire from heaven. Prometheus breaks out of bounds. Prometheus breaks the rules and the understandings of reality. It's like, whoa, I'm seeing from a perspective I didn't even know was allowed or permitted. I'm seeing the future. I'm seeing all these lifetimes simultaneously, etc. It can just be these brilliant perspectives and realizations. And again, it can be like so much at once. It's just very difficult to contain. And we need to be slow. We need to be able to be very forgiving and very, very flexible at this time. The recommendation is to have physical outlets with all this Martian energy. It's a wonderful time to go to the gym. It's a wonderful time to check out the new bike trail. It's a wonderful time to already have preordained, well, if things get reactive and messy and things start going back and forth with the wife or the kids or something, this is my opportunity to go on a walk. We need to have those physical outlets. We need to be flexible so we can rectify and readjust how we are using our physical willpower, energy, and drive. That is Mars square to Pluto. It's about adjusting how we are doing those things in order to be in service of the deepest desires of our soul. And yet there can be these challenges, it can be so much at once we want to, I'm not sure if I want to jump into that quite yet. There can be this going back and forth, but ultimately we're getting propelled forward. I would say go at a steady pace, and if feelings and stuff is coming up, it's okay. We just keep moving one step after the next, but also make sure that you're not going at a break pace speed. So for example, when we go to the gym, don't push, I'm going to push more weight than I ever have. And then the breakdown, the meltdown, and everything comes back down. And the energy can reverberate so intensely, so back and forth, up and down, between different dimensions, it can be unbelievable. This is Uranus opposite to Jupiter. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. When we think of the sign of Aquarius, that little sigil, it's up, down, up, down, up, down. That's the Aquarian nature. It's reverberating very intensely between completely different dimensions. So much so that Uranus in Aquarius gets correlated with trauma. If you move from hot to cold too quickly, it's traumatic. It will hurt you, yeah? It's like that energy, or when you're holding something, you don't know if it's too hot or too cold. This is this Aquarius shocking, it's like there's this electrical static charge to everything right now. And so, What you don't want to do is, oh my gosh, so much energy, I'm going to push so much out, I'm going to do more than I ever have, nothing's going to stop me, I'm going to push more weight, push more weight, push more weight, chisel, chisel, chisel. The more forceful we are, the more that this can relapse. And I'm going to use my own story because this is what happened to me yesterday. And this is how this week is. It's busy, 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 doing so much, so much. Wow, I can't believe how much energy is coursing through my veins. I bust out 3 charts, do all this stuff, and then suddenly it just smashes me. Oh man, now my throat hurts. I've been doing too much talking. Oh my gosh. And it's like a 360-degree turnaround. I couldn't believe how much energy I felt in the morning, and I couldn't believe how crappy I felt in the evening. I have no energy. And this is a defense mechanism. It's a coping mechanism. There's so much energy moving through us. We have to be able to contain it, or else our body and our mind and our emotions are going to start discarding it or disconnecting it. That's the negative potential of Uranus is, oh, it's too traumatic, so we're going to disconnect. And then it just floats out there in outer space, or it all dissolves, etc. And so this solar eclipse, and the meaning of the jockey spurs his horse, Daniel writes that this is the capacity for man to throw himself fully into any activity, self-quickening. However, it can also be premature energetic expenditure. What is the key here? Managing our energy. It is the challenge. It's easier said than done. I knew that sickness was a propensity this week, and easier said than done. The implementing is a little bit more difficult, isn't it? We need to manage our energy. We need to manage our time. We need to be practical, and we need to set healthy boundaries. That means you are available from this time to that time. You are working from this time to that time. You are visiting other people this time to that time. This is our friend time. This is our individual time. It's very important that we structure and heed to the structures that we are creating. Because Pisces is the opposite. It's bleeding through those healthy boundaries. It's merging. It's being distracted. It's being confused. It's being impressed and manipulated and steered by all of this chaos and confusion going on in our world, going on in Facebook, unexpected, shocking things happening, more wild cards being thrown that are stirring everybody up, and it's just like, whoa! What is your plan? What is your schedule? The North Node is still in Virgo until, I believe, May 10th. And so it is a very direct way of managing our body, managing our energy systems, making sure that we are staying healthy, that we are staying practical. Easier said than done, yes? And there is this propulsion that we can harness in that endeavor to integrate our highest ideals and goals, Pisces, with our individual willpower and drive, Aries, in such a way to practically serve, be grounded and implemented into actual time, 3-dimensional formation, etc. This is the time to initiate and carve and create your future in a way which is meaningful and inspirational to others. Now again, this Pisces solar eclipse on the South Node is the past resurfacing. We are seeing everything that's not good and clean and solved yet. This is to be anticipated. But it gives us meaning and motivation to be that spiritual warrior. And these are months that are initiating spiritual warriors. This is a year where the spiritual warriors are being initiated and finding each other, coming out of the woodwork. And we are being motivated, again, to come together and to create the future by seeing what has not been resolved in the past, what has not been perfectly cleaned up, what's not functioning in a healthy, nice way in our world, in our environment, etc. And so it's a really interesting coincidence. And I asked her permission first, but my client this morning is sisters with one of the 4 students who was shot in the 1960s at the Kent University in Ohio during the protesting of the Vietnam War. Peaceful protesting resulting in violence on the part of the government, the FBI, the authorities, the control. And what happened is it all got swept under the rug. Did anything get resolved? No. That's what we're seeing now. That's what's coming back to us, is how much we haven't totally resolved with this solar eclipse. If you are interested in supporting this growing endeavor about spreading awareness about the Kent State tragedy, check out Kent State Truth Tribunal and the Allison Center for Peace. Pluto is moving through Capricorn. This is not forever. This too will pass. This is dissolving. These structures are dissolving, but we are witnessing it so we can have our attention brought there, so we can assist that transition. That means that it's not the end of the world, first of all. It's not the end of the world. But it does mean that we have to be inspired by what could be the end of the world if we all just took a back seat and fell asleep and drifted off into apathy. This is the end of apathy, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. We all have to come alive. We all have to speak our truth. We all have to do what is important and needed in order for there to be justice and harmony and continued life on this planet. And so, long story short, very, very exciting couple weeks we're going through. I'd love to hear back from you guys. And again, I'm wishing all the best for you. And I wish you all, let's all be here for each other, and let's all be a little bit careful. Don't take extra risks. This isn't the time to be doing stupid, things that could end in mechanical error or driving your car 120 miles an hour down the highway. You know this, but just as an extra reminder, it's a time where we want to be extra aware of what's going on with other people and what's going on with ourselves, because there's a lot of friction and a lot of reactivity, and we don't want to turn any molehills into mountains. We don't want to blow anything out of proportion. Instead, we just want to seize this energy. If it's not working, drop it and move on. If it's not working, drop it and move on. If it's not working, try something else. Don't try to fit a square peg through a round hole. One more thing. I'm having a Q&A session March 12th. It's $20 plus a couple dollar service fee. And I'm promoting this because it's a wonderful opportunity to have questions answered. If you're into astrology, if you want to ask something about your chart, as long as it's okay for other people to hear, I recommend you join our Q&A. And as far as the healthy boundaries go, I know a lot of people want me to keep doing more and more free things. But just to sort of exemplify, my worst experience with clients and other people being just downright mean have always been free readings. And so we have to draw those lines for ourselves. It is okay for us to do so because it makes everything work out better. So anyways, check out that Q&A if you're into astrology. It's on March 12th. I'll have posts on my Facebook, and I look forward to speaking to you guys next. That's enough for me. Thank you all. Namaste.